A chosen group of people is dropped off on an isolated island in the middle of the ocean. Somehow, these humans have developed into a brand new species known as the talented. They are seen by the rest of the world as their only chance of surviving the conflict between humanity and the extraterrestrial creatures who have invaded Earth with the intention of eradicating all humankind. These creatures are now widely recognized as humanity's enemies. The narrative starts in an unspecified year in the early 2000s. A boy by the name of Nano Nakajima who resides on this island with other gifted humans is our primary protagonist. The rest of his family, who are quite the opposite, find him embarrassing because it appears he was born without any talent. He was sent to this academy to eventually discover his talent after his father gave him the order to leave right away, and as a result, he is also far from his family. Isolated from the outside world, this island appears to be some sort of training ground or school for gifted individuals. Unless someone contacts the teacher from headquarters, the people who own the island, and the task force tasked with eliminating humanity's enemies, the island doesn't hear from the outside world. Because he lacks abilities, Nakajima is teased by his peers and becomes an outsider in the classroom. One day, the instructor welcomes two new pupils into the class. Kaluya Onodaira, a boy, is the first one, following Ijima, a big-mouth crybaby. The teacher stops Mogo, the class bully, from asking Kyuya to disclose his talent, telling him it will stay a secret. Given that the smartest students in the class are typically the ones who prefer to keep their talents a secret, Nakajima assumes that he must be extremely powerful. When a lively girl with pink hair enters and introduces herself as Nana, she doesn't hold anything back and informs the other students right away of her special ability, mind reading. She is able to look deep into people's minds and examine their past experiences and recollections from a very long time ago in addition to her ability to read minds. She goes on to say that she enjoys helping people who are overanalyzing things because she is constantly listening to their inner voices. She follows the teacher's instructions to sit in the back of the room, which is the seat next to Nakajima. Since it's all Nakajima can think about, she learns right away that the rest of the class thinks less of him. When a stunning girl like Nana takes a seat next to him, he becomes anxious because he finds it hard to believe that a girl with her appearance would want to assist him in any way. She wants to be friends with him right away because she's already read his personality traits. Using her abilities, she begins to learn more about him and learns more about Nakajima's prior life experiences before arriving on the island. She learns that his father was a very proud millionaire who was disappointed in his son for not contributing to the family. Nana is aware of Nakajima's desire to do whatever it takes to regain his father's favor. His father assigned him the duty of watching over the family watch so that he could maintain his father's respect, and Nakajima pledges to keep it secure. Nana is aware that Nakajima deserves the opportunity to lead the class, something his father would be pleased of, but she also knows he will never put himself forward for election. Nana then promptly offers him the position of new class representative, highlighting all of his positive traits. But Mogo and Seiya, the two most popular students, voted for themselves as well. A dispute arises about who should represent the class the next time around. Kyoa steps in to put an end to the arguments and suggests that the three of them compete in a duel match to resolve the issue. Nana asks Nakajima to show her around the island after school because she still feels very unfamiliar with everything. Nana almost trips and falls while talking about their previous lives before arriving on the island, but Nakajima quickly catches her and saves her. They both believe it could be one of humanity's enemies when she tells him she felt something push her away. When they are strolling back to their dorms later in the evening, Nana brings up Nakajima's father. He was irritated by this since those were private and intimate memories that he didn't want to share with anyone. She keeps trying to understand him, though, and he becomes irate with Nana for bringing up sensitive topics in his private life. He can finally show his father that he is a capable leader, which is all he has ever wanted, so she still doesn't understand why it was a problem for her to choose him to be the class representative. However, Nakajima informs Nana that it is useless to vote for him because he lacks talent and cannot win. The following day at school, Seiya, the ice wizard, and Mogo, the fire brute, are prepared to battle it out to be the new class representative. They charge into battle and trade blows until Seiya uses ice magic to freeze Mogo's legs and prevails. The brute gets extremely enraged at this and becomes humiliated. Mogo then unleashes a massive fireball on Seiya by using all of his strength. However, it almost takes out the entire class before Nakajima, showing off his hidden talent, leaps to the rescue and puts out the massive fire blast. It turns out that Nakajima's ability is to negate the talents of others in order to prevent them from being used. He concealed this for some reason because he believes it is unuseful in comparison to other people's abilities. But everyone is taken aback by this and gives Nakajima credit for it. As a result of his actions, he was elected as the new class representative. Nakajima makes the decision to give Nana some thanks because she was the only person in the class to be his friend and the one to defend him. Hence, they cross paths on a mountainside. They start discussing the potential infiltration of the school and the enemies of humanity. Given that these monsters could assume any form, including human form, it is possible that a student could be one of these creatures. At this point, Nana transforms from a cute persona into a dark one and eats him off the cliff. Nakajima asks her what's going on as he is hanging on to a thin rope in confusion. At this point, Nana comes clean about the fact that she is a talentless student and does not belong to their talented race. Actually, she's just your average person. It also turns out that the human race's enemies against whom the gifted students are being trained are fictitious. Furthermore, there aren't any enormous monsters like the ones they read about in textbooks. However, the gifted people are actually humanity's greatest enemies. She tells Nakajima that these gifted people were spreading quickly throughout the world and that about 5 years ago the general public grew tired of them. These new, potentially superhuman humans stopped using their abilities to fight crime and advance humankind. However, they were disobeying all laws, destroying the world as we know it, and abusing these powers for their personal gain and financial advantage. And eventually, this sparked a conflict between ordinary people and gifted people. The war was actually won by humanity. The youngest gifted beings who survived the war are now sequestered on these isolated islands, cut off from the outside world. They are also taught from an early age that they are being trained to be superheroes on Earth and that they have to learn how to defeat the enemies of humanity. However, that is something that humans have just made up because, in actuality, they have only placed the gifted individuals on these islands in order to maintain human dominance over the known world. In order to stop the gifted individuals from developing their supernatural powers before they can master them, they set up this covert operation. To do this, they must send a normal human onto the island to discover their capabilities before killing them. Similar to an Amugus. This time, Nana is the infiltrator that they sent. Furthermore, despite being a mere mortal with no special abilities, she possesses exceptional intelligence and makes excellent character judgments. She can thus easily convince the other students that she has the gift of mind reading due to her exceptional deductive skills and high IQ. And in that manner, she could become one of the gifted creatures. The human headquarters have given her the task of discovering the powers possessed by these gifted individuals and eliminating as many of them as she can. Nakajima was her initial target, but since he has been eliminated, she must now go after the others. When the class visits the lake the following day, Nana is able to see firsthand the full extent of Seiya's freezing powers. Nana observes how thick the ice was and calculates that it will take at least 5 days for it to all melt when he quickly freezes the entire lake. Nana sits down with Seiya later in class to hear more about his talent. But in the interim, Mogo is harassing a different pupil. Mogo approaches the victim to punch her but unintentionally falls to the ground. Shibusawa is the one responsible for this. One more gifted student with time management skills. Seiya discusses with Nana Shibusawa's abilities and how he might be the most powerful student in the class because he has the ability to actually stop time, travel back and forth in time, and alter the course of certain events. When Nana hears this, she marks him as her next target because she believes he is too attractive and has the potential to thwart her plan to kill every talented person on the island. Having said that, Nana meets Shibusawa for lunch and pretends to be in love with him while actually learning more about his abilities. She's curious about all of his shortcomings and limits. She is able to ascertain that his time travel ability is limited to a maximum of 24 hours. He could also travel back in time to spend more time there, but this will exhaust him greatly. Nana is preparing to kill Shibusawa when Keo, the new boy who joined on the same day as Nana and whose talent is still unknown, enters the conversation and appears to be questioning Nana about Nakajima. Keo appears intrigued by Nana's sudden disappearance and seems worried about it. But by accusing Kiowa of being an enemy of humanity for withholding his powers, Nana diverts attention from herself and Shibusawa, who appears to like Nana, naively sides with her. Kiowa simply leaves in order to allay further suspicion. After talking with Keo, Shibusawa seems more concerned about Nakajima's predicament and wants to learn more about her abrupt disappearance. He also promises Nana that he will assist in her search for her friend. Unaware that this would ultimately result in his death, Nana managed to send him back in time to when Seiya had just begun to freeze the lake, trapping him beneath the frozen body of water that would remain frozen for at least 5 days. Thus, farewell to my man Shibusawa. After eliminating 2 targets, Nana's only remaining target was Ko, the new boy, who is beginning to suspect Nana and has some idea of what is going on. She decides to use any means necessary to uncover Ko's powers so that she can come up with a plan to get rid of him as soon as possible, even though it turns out that they may be similar in some ways or that he may even be smarter than she is. She starts to follow him around the school because she needs to learn more about him. She finds out that he had been feeding a kitten in the janitor's shed by doing this. He also consistently purchases a box of milk which he heats and gives to the stray cat every day during lunch. He invites her into his room, which appears to be more of a library than a typical boy's bedroom, after Nana approaches him once more later on in the context of wanting to be his friend. He does, however, leave Nana with a plethora of hints that she can utilize to begin deciphering his hidden ability. Upon surveying his room, she concludes that one of Kyoya's shortcomings is his lack of sense of smell, given that he appears to label all of his groceries and food. Additionally, the expiration dates are printed on these labels. She can therefore foresee that Kyoya's vision is always in black and white and that he is colorblind. After making a few quick deductions, he tells her that he has a younger sister who was also gifted and was sent to this island as they begin playing video games together. But he never did hear from her again. Thus, in addition to researching humanity's enemies, his objective on the island is to learn what became of his younger sister. And he believes that whatever befell Nakajima will help him discover the solutions. In addition to asking Nana to go with him to Nakajima's crime scene, Taoya questions her once more. She makes up an excuse that he's frightening her, but she doesn't understand why he's being so hostile and wants him to tell her more about himself because he's so enigmatic. Nana asks him what his true talent is this time. But since Kyoya is always thinking about his talent, Kyoya gains the upper hand and starts to question whether she is truly gifted and has the ability to read people's minds. However, she is still unable to identify it in some way. However, he cannot yet incriminate Kyoya because he lacks sufficient evidence to show that she lacks talent or any proof that she was involved in Nakajima's disappearance that evening. He then decides to move on and asks Nana if they should become friends. She accepts. The following day, after learning that Ko usually feeds the cat during his lunch break, Nana sets up a trap for him and activates the gas inside the shed. She does it in a way that would cause the entire shed to blow up when he turns on the stove, which would be a fantastic way to showcase his talent. Kyoya switches on the stove when he enters the shed because he is unable to smell anything. Kyoya is seen entirely burned alive and on the ground as the entire shed blows up. Nana approaches Kyoya's burned body while feigning innocence and calls out to him, promising to send help. To her astonishment, though, Ko, who is half dead, grabs Nana's leg, revealing his true power, immortality. It is therefore impossible to kill him no matter what anyone tries to do to him. Furthermore, he now believes that she is the enemy of humanity because she was the first to arrive at the scene. However, Ko quickly acknowledges that he went too far, calms down, adopts a new perspective, and begins to believe that perhaps Nana is genuinely attempting to assist him. He then realizes his mistake, apologizes to Nana, and expresses his hope that they can remain friends for the time being. Nana cannot allow Kyoya to believe that she is the primary culprit. She therefore comes up with a scheme to allay suspicions about her. Subsequently that day, Nana meets Michiru, a sweetheart who may be a little awkward, but she is an incredibly kind person. Her power is the ability to instantly heal anyone with just a saliva sample. As a result of her assistance with the class bullies, she and Michiru grow closer and end up becoming best friends. She only does this though because she needs Michiru for her upcoming scheme. After Michiru lets out a loud cry during the night, Nana decides to stab herself in the back. Kaluya meets them at the crime scene. After being stabbed, Nana took this action knowing that Michiru would save her. Nana replies that it was an enemy of humanity that had done this to her and that those enemies are also capable of becoming invisible. However, even after hearing her account, Kyoya isn't convinced and believes she might have stabbed herself. Again though, he tells himself that he is merely speculating and lacks concrete proof that Nana harmed herself in this way. They determined that Nakajima was killed by an enemy of humanity the following day in class, and as a result, they must choose a new class representative. The class decides to make Nana the new class leader after she wins their respect for her bravery in facing and defeating a human enemy. As the class leader, her first directive was to give one particular student the task of getting to know the other students and beginning to record each person's skills. Her clever justification for this was that they had to get everyone ready for the impending attack and created a false narrative for why the monsters were on the island in the first place. This backfires, though, when she meets Tsunakachi, a boy, after school, and he shows her a picture of what's going to happen to them. He asks Nana to clarify herself and reveals how he can see into the future over the course of the following few hours. He tells Nana that his pictures are from the future, that while he dreams, images are being taken and turned into 5 pictures at once, and that these pictures will tell him what will happen in the future, something he can always count on to happen. Since her arrival, Tsunakichi has been taking pictures, and he discloses that he is aware of both her killing Nakajima and her trapping of Shibusawa, the boy who can travel through time via teleportation, beneath the lake. Now that he is aware that Nana will kill him next, he chooses to use her as leverage by threatening to reveal to the others that she is the true enemy of humanity. He does, however, ask if she will be his girlfriend in return for his silence before leading her back to his room. He forces her to spend the night with him and give him a massage. She watches as he dreams at that point, seeing how his power functions inside the pictures. She also discovers one photo that she wishes to keep hidden from him. She then conceals it. When Tsunakachi awakens the following morning, he finds that there are just 4 pictures in this album. Thus, one picture is absent, given that he is limited to 5 shots at a time. He accuses Nana of taking something that she was unaware of. In Nana's pocket, he discovers the picture. Furthermore, the aforementioned picture demonstrated how Tsunakachi prevailed over Nana in their altercation. Furthermore, Nana took the picture to give him the impression that she was the one in control and could easily outwit him. He assures her that everything will turn out precisely as he had predicted based on the pictures. Thus, the following day at 10 p.m. At the meeting place in the shed, they both cross paths. The picture was taken at precisely this moment. 5 minutes before he arrived, she had thrown some poisonous needles from her back pocket onto the floor in an attempt to alter the outcome of the photos. When she grabs the rope, everything proceeds exactly as it did in the pictures. She stumbles onto the floor next to the needles just as he is about to take advantage of her, though, and uses them to attack Tsunakachi as he is dying. She admits that she concealed the actual 5th image. And as it happens, the picture in which she appeared to be dead was not real. Nevertheless, Nana had taken the picture herself. She also covered it up on her since she knew he would discover it and believed that's what actually transpired. All she did was use a fictitious photo to trick Tsunakachi. Furthermore, the actual picture he snapped in his dreams showed Kyoya breaking through the door and him lying dead on the ground, something that will happen in a moment. According to Kyoya, he learned of their relationship through Tsunakachi's strange behavior and constant announcements to the public that Nana was now his girlfriend. Kyoya became interested when Michiru suggested that Nana might be in trouble. They examined Tsunakachi's room together. Within, they discovered the picture of Nana lifeless on the ground with Tsunakachi looming over her. And because Kyoya recognized the pea shed, that is how they found out where they would be. Later on, after Tsunakichi's death, Kyoya discovers Nana back in his room. He then questions Nana about Tsunakichi's abilities. Kyoya is aware that everything depicted in Tsunakichi's photographs will undoubtedly come to pass. Something Tsunakichi boasted about all the time. However, Nana has managed to survive. All of this caused Kyoya to conclude that the picture was phony and may have been taken by Nana herself in order to control Tsunakichi and force him to lower his guard at a particular moment in order for Nana to prevail over him. However, Kyoya was only conjecturing about all of this in his mind, and as of right now, he has nothing to back up his theories and no concrete proof that any of it is true. So he just lets her go once more. Though Kyoya believes Nana is manipulating everyone, he still needs evidence to inform the other students that everyone had left the pep shed save for Michiru, who was still attempting to use her healing abilities to revive Tsunakachi. She felt something beneath his jacket and pulled it out while she was doing this. Michiru catches a glimpse of the picture of Tsunakachi's imagined future in which Nana pushes Nakajima off the cliff just before the menacing-looking Nana walks into the room. Michiru, on the other hand, is overly fond of Nana and accepts her explanation when she says that Sakanashi isn't always accurate in foretelling the future and that it might have been just a dream. Additionally, the picture is inaccurate. Today is Sakaneshi's funeral day, and there is growing unease because there are rumors that the enemies of humanity are gaining ground on them. While Nana tries her hardest to stop it, Kyoya insists that an autopsy be performed before they dispose of the body. The casket begins to open from the inside by Itsukanisha's corpse just as Kyoya is ready to open it. This is when the class's quietest and most absent boy steps forward to identify himself as a necromancer. He informs the class that he has the ability to resurrect the dead, learn how they passed away, and, if he so chooses, to harness the corpse's abilities. Nana declares that she can hear Tsukanesha's thoughts while he is a zombie, that he is in excruciating pain, and that he just wants to die in peace in an attempt to put an end to everything. It is then decided that they will carry out the more dignified procedure of conducting the autopsy. That same evening, Nana tracks Shinji, designating him as her next target because of his ability to resurrect the dead, which poses a serious threat to her mission since it could implicate her if the necromancer looks into the people Shinji brings back. She finds out that Yuka, a student in the class who possesses superhuman abilities, and Shinji are romantically involved. After becoming friends with them both, she learns a more important truth. Shinji is merely a dead corpse that Yuka is reanimating, and Yuka is the true necromancer. After determining Yuka's vulnerabilities and devising a plan to destroy her, Nana eventually puts Yuka in danger and uses poison needles to kill her. Nana approaches a girl in the forest by stealth and inquires about the whereabouts of her friend Kaori. Habu then informs Nana that she is back at the dorm after getting into a fight with Kaori. Since Kaori isn't present, Nana takes advantage of the situation to prick Habu with a poison needle and take away her phone. She demands to know the passcode for the phone, promising to give it to Habu in exchange for the antidote. After that, Habu rapidly gives her the password, but Nana simply abandons her to perish in the forest by herself. Subsequently, Nana locates her friend Kaori's room and injects Kaori's contact lenses with another lethal needle. Later that day, Nana leads Saya, Magu, Keo, and Michiru into the forest to tell them how she came to believe that Yuka was the true necromancer, the one reviving Shinji's body because she was in love with him and wanted to spend eternity with him. Nana informs them that Yuka ultimately regretted her actions and took her own life. Kaeya is starting to doubt Nana more than before. Even though Nana is making an effort to conceal the killings, the other students, particularly the devoted Michiru, do not accept it. A scream is heard by the group from the dorms. They discover Kaori dead after racing to her room. Kyuya discovers that Kaori was poisoned as he looks into the scene. Michiru, through her contact lenses, tells Kyuya that Habu's talent is causing her saliva to turn poisonous, leading Kyuya to suspect Habu rather than Nana. Mikairu informs Kyuya that Kaori and Habu last spoke while they were in the forest with Nana after looking through Kaori's phone. Kyoya informs a few of their classmates that Nana is the murderer because she is convinced that Nana killed Kaori. After outlining his case against Nana, Keo starts looking through her belongings for his primary piece of evidence, Habu's phone. After searching Nana and failing to locate the phone to support his claims, Kyoya apologizes to her after Michiru scolds him for subjecting her to all of these accusations. Nana then informs the group that she has heard Habu's spirit voice and advises them to never again suspect anyone. Later that evening, Michiru witnesses Nana on lookout duty, guarding the dorms from the same classroom. She offers to watch so Nana can get some rest in her kind way, but then she flips a switch. She asks Nana what her true talent is while holding a blade to her face with an ominous expression on it. It seems Michiru believes she's on the island for other reasons. Nana is caught off guard by this, but she moves fast to disarm her, cutting her hand. The following day, Nana brings Michiru to the edge of the cliff to face her, sensing that she isn't the real Michiru because she covered up her hand wound rather than using her power to heal it. Then, immediately after Michiru, the figure changes into a man who addresses Nana as Jean and says he used to attend the school. Jean offers Nana a cup of coffee after he shows her his hidden cave. Jean reveals that he has been pretending to be the cat that Keo has been feeding during lunch and that 5 years ago his classmates were at war with one another while he pours himself a cup. Nana realizes with horror that Jean can instantly copy the appearance and powers of anyone he wants, but Nana runs to escape the cave, so Jean shapeshifts into Mogo and unleashes a massive fireball to stop her. However, Nana accidentally spills poison into the drink, killing Jean, or so Nana thought. Nana calls the committee to report about Jean's death, but Keo grabs hold of her phone and transforms into Mikairu and Saya. Nana is stopped, but then she stumbles and almost passes out. In an attempt to gain Nana's trust, Jean continues by inquiring about her family circumstances. Nana then tells Jean more about herself and how her parents passed away when a gifted individual broke into their home one night, killing both of them. Following their conversation, Jean tells Nana that he genuinely likes her and understands her situation because he too killed everyone on the island many years ago. Since then, he has been hiding in the cave after Jean cautions Nana to exercise caution and informs her that she might not be the only murderer on the island because he has been looking into the intentions of other students besides her. When Nana wakes up in the real Michiru's bed and her back has completely healed, Nana opens up to Michiru about her past and discusses how her parents' deaths left her an orphan when she was very young. Nana observes Michiru intently after she opens up because she feels that Michiru is being unduly kind to her and believes that Michiru is surreptitiously observing her. She begins to understand that, like everyone else, Michiru must also have a dark side. Although Nana knows she will have to kill her one day, she doesn't see any reason to kill her now, so she lets her go. While Nana witnesses Michiru collapsing from overuse of her powers, Kaora asks the teacher to allow him to speak with the higher-ups the next time the school calls to explain everything that's happening at the funerals for Yuka, Shinji, and Kyuri. Subsequently, Jean reappears in Nana's room and informs her that he will return her phone only if she becomes open with him once more. However, Michiru enters the room abruptly, causing Jean to change back into his cat form. Michiru is curious to know more about Nana's perception of her as a bad person. At this point, Nana shares details about the kind of child she was. And Nana tells Michiru how one night she crept out of the window without locking it, which allowed a robber to enter their house and kill her parents. Ko presents a fresh corpse to the girls in the morning. This is what Jean had warned Nana about because, this time, Nana was not the cause of the death and Nana now knows that someone else was the murderer. Following their identification of the deceased as a boy by the name of Ruji, Ko launches an investigation and starts questioning Mogo about his previous evening's activities. Given that the victim's room is right next to Mogo's, Mogo tells Kyoya that he was giving his friends a much-needed motivational speech. Following that, Kyoya asks Mogo's friends about all of their talents and they begin to share them with him. 3 abilities are astral travel, voice mimicking, and some sort of human magnetism. Finally, Kyoya queries Fuka, Ruji's girlfriend, about her talent as well. She does, however, caution them about her overpowering talent and advises that it would be best to take everyone outside before she shows off her skills. When she's outside, she describes how she can control the Earth's elements, like the wind, which she uses to attack Kyoya. As they are wrapping up outside, Ko's teacher sprints over to tell him that the superiors are on the phone. As they return to the room to continue their investigation of the crime scene, Nana notices that Michiru is wearing a worried expression. Later, after they graduate from the island, Michiru asks Nana to move in with her and her parents. Nana becomes upset about this and walks out of the room. Following Michiru's return of her cleaned and laundered uniform, Nana notices that both their teacher, who tells Kyoya that someone from headquarters is on the way to the island, and the poison bottle, which she meant to use against Jean, are missing from her pocket. Following Kyoya's interrogation, Fuku begs Nana to assist her in getting revenge on Ruji, her boyfriend's death. When Nana later gets to Michiru's room, she can't find her poison bottle until Jean shows up and gives it to her. When Jean calls Nana to see how Michiru is doing, she discovers him unconscious in the bathtub as soon as she opens the door. Nana finally picks her up and rushes to their teacher to ask for the doctor after debating whether or not to save the life of a gifted person and defy her ultimate mission. However, he advises her to ask Kyoya for assistance instead. After Ko gives Nana some medication and the teachers all depart from the island, Nana quickly returns to Michiru's side. Fuka visits Nana later that evening to inquire about any updates regarding Ruji, her boyfriend. However, Nana informs her that Kyoya is handling it. After some time, Michiru wakes up and tells Nana about the mysterious cat she met and healed just before taking a shower. Jean confronts Ruji's killer in the forest and orders him to stop hurting the island's animals and pets. In the meantime, it is revealed that Nana's mentors and the enigmatic second murderer meet there. Mr. Soroka promises to visit and survey the island. When Nana returns to the island, she plays a game with Michiru. Using this as an opportunity to learn more about Michiru's true motivations, Nana asks her why she is always so kind since she is unable to figure it out. Subsequently, Michiru informs Nana that she was once the target of bullying due to her abilities and that she had never liked having talent. She treated a stray dog one day and a girl from her school came up to thank her for the selfless and compassionate deed. From that point on, the girl, named Hitomi, protected Michiru from all of the bullies at school and urged her to continue utilizing her gifts to assist those in need. Michiru informs us that Hitomi passed away from cancer. She claimed that her friendship with Hitomi had a lasting impact on her life, which is why she is always willing to lend a helping hand to anyone in need of her abilities, even if doing so will shorten her own life. Michiru becomes upset as Nana exits the room once more because all she wants is to be friends with Nana. However, Nana consistently displays a range of emotions upon her departure. Nana struggles to decide whether to put her mission of eliminating all gifted beings first or her friendship with her best friend, Michiru. At that moment, Jean slips back into Nana's room to inform her of Michiru's location and warn her that she could be in danger. Jean is aware of Nana's love for her, but the second murderer is about to attack Michiru. The first thing Nana did was go and get her. While traveling there, Nana receives a call from her boss, Mr. Soroka, who works at the Untalented Human Council headquarters. He claimed that he had called to remind her of the task and that he expected her to complete it without abandoning any gifted people. At this point, Nana appears to have a change of heart, concluding that Michiru remains an enemy of humanity and that it would be unwise to risk the mission as a whole. Fearful, Michiru makes an effort to get away from the murderer with Bane. Nana appears and protects her from the stab that could have taken her life right before it does. Nana takes the knife to the back and reveals that the person who killed Ruji was an astral traveling friend of Mogo's. Still in his astral form, a man by the name of Rentura uses more stabs to kill the frail Nana. It seems that Rentura takes pleasure in the murder and only wants to get high from it. After Kao breaks off his astral travel and discovers Rentara's physical body inside the dorms, he and Nana had been planning how to catch him earlier. With Rentura's astral form gone, Michiru rushes over to Nana's body, who is bleeding and barely alive. Despite Nana's pleas for her to stop, she heals her wounds without hesitation, and when she leaves her bloody, torn-out clothes where she was stabbed, there are no signs of her injuries. Nana is now in perfect health. In an attempt to listen for a heartbeat, she kneels in front of Michiru's body, but what she hears breaks her heart and causes her agony. Please remember to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on and leave a like if you like this and want to see more. That way you won't miss any upcoming videos. And until we meet again, gentlemen, be safe.